No, I'm
Hi.
not able to. Krishna Kumar, how are you, sir?
Yeah, wonderful. Can you able to see me?
Yeah, I'm able to see you now.
Yeah, thank you. Maybe I will just adjust a little. Is
Yeah,
that okay?
yeah,
Now,
yeah.
now is it fine?
Fine, sir.
Yeah. Well, and sure. And let me just see if when I do the present, the screen, whether we can just, I want to test it out,
There'll be a pin which will appear
and
on
let's
there.
see if I'm able to get that the screen. Can you see me the screen?
Yeah, I'm able to see.
Hello. Can you see the screen?
Yes.
Could you see the screen?
Yeah, I can see the screen, sir. Am I audible?
No, but when I showed the full screen, could you see that?
Yeah, full screen. Yes, I can see you. It's the
No, no. Now,
presentation.
for example, now here, this one. Can you see this?
Is it a presentation?
Yeah. Well, I'm talking. This will be why a few things
No,
will be going
there
on.
is a pin which will appear in your screen. You can just pin in. So the materials which you want to show
Huh?
will appear. Just you have to
Yeah,
click in the
yeah,
pin.
yeah. This is what I am. This is what I want to show. For example, so I'm sharing the screen. Now I'm not. I will now go out of the screen. But when I want to share it, I will share the screen and talk. Is it all right?
Can we just check it up and we can
Yeah.
go?
For example, now I am sharing the screen, right?
Hmm.
So now let me see. Yeah, this is what I'm sharing. Is it okay?
No, I'm not able to see.
Okay. Now let me then go to uh, yeah. Now I say share.
To click on present here.
Yeah. Now I
He is presenting.
can you see now?
Yeah, I'm able to see.
And are you able to see my face too on the side?
No, I can see both
Yeah, you can see the screen as well as my
as well
face.
as your face. Yes.
Yeah. So now I will stop sharing,
Yeah.
and because you will be doing the introduction and other things,
Yes, sir.
so I don't need to know. So I will stop sharing. Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Now that's gone. Yeah. So that is it. Yeah. Wonderful. So we will start at now it's 12. Will you start now?
Yes, sir. Can we
Yeah.
go ahead?
Yeah. Of course.
Public
Wonderful.
audience. Fine, sir.
Yeah.
We are going ahead. There will be a formal introduction. Thereafter,
Okay.
I will introduce you in person also. Thereafter, we will go into the initially the subject, then you, and then to you.
Okay.
If time permits, then we will take questions also.
Wonderful.
Right, sir. Thank you so much, sir.
My
Nice to
pleasure.
see you. Nice to see
Yeah.
you, sir.
My pleasure.
Very good afternoon to everyone. We are on the third day of sixth webinar series, 5-day webinar series from Gandhigram Rural Institute, deemed to be university, GRI Center from Delhi. And it's a very pleasant day in Delhi. You can say the cold has started. So we have here our guest warming up us in a different subject. As we progress, I wish to register or record my thanks, my sincere thanks for the opportunity given for the GRI Center. Uh, our Chancellor, Dr. K. M. Annamalai, our Vice Chancellor, Dr. B. Subraj, and our Registrar, Dr. V.P.R. Sivakumar, for their outstanding support to take it further as a knowledge hub, as dreamt by our Chancellor, Dr. K. M. Annamalai. We are here trying our level best in letter and spirit, whatever is the guidance given by our chancellor. Uh, we are here and we are trying to bring in new subjects which are relevant, which are new, which are ignored, and which are important, something like that. So today we have a very different subject. I personally feel our physics department, our mathematics department, our IT, and our computer students together will gain from this webinar. It will be a very nice subject and even more a very nice speaker for the day as a chief guest. Let me put forth the title. Today we are going to discuss on a very important subject of future, interdisciplinary cyber physical systems a curtain raiser to generation next. This is what the title is. ICPS, as is commonly known, interdisciplinary cyber physical system. It's controlled and monitored by computer-based algorithms, tightly integrated with internet and its users. Is what simply, as a layman, I can make out. Sir, please correct me if I am wrong. The cyber is nothing but a computation, communication, and that are actually logical one. Physical is natural and man-made systems governed by its laws of physics and opting and in continuous times is what physical is. So putting 1 plus 1 to 2, a simple mathematical formula what I have used is computing and its computing and communication system bridges with the physical world are, are referred to and cyber physical systems is what my layman understanding about ICPS. But we are here to host Sri N. Janardhan IAS, a very well known speaker and a personality. He is like a university. You can speak any language, any subject to him. He will be in a position to clear our doubts and other things. Shall I go ahead with? I'll seek your permission to go ahead with introducing Dr. Janardhan. Dr. Janardhan, an IAS officer, a United Nations advisor, and an expert on governance of complex social problems and digital early childhood care and learning processes. Over 40 years of diverse experience in the United Nations government, financial institutions, public charitable institutions, and business. He was the youngest advisor of the United Nations Regional Commission for Asia and Pacific. Was invited to be one of the two UNESCO chair professor of Indira Gandhi National Open University on governance of education. As an advisor, he is an advisor to the Indian Red Cross Society and an honorary fellow in Indian Institute of Foreign Trade, IAFT, a prominent institution in Delhi. Dr. Janardhan is founder trustee of Hassle-Free Foundation Public Charitable Trust. It is focused on ecosystems approach to the betterment of society that includes education, preventive health, water, sanitation, and hygiene, and increasing the income of poor farmers. Special attention is given to early childhood care and education, learning and literacy, ECCE, that holistically integrates health, brain, body, social and emotional, and learning and education, age and class appropriate. It works in 9,100 government schools from 91 aspirational districts of 19 states and covers around 20 lakh children, making them understand how the generation next cutting edge technologies under the rubric of interdisciplinary cyber physical systems (ICPS) will shape up in their future. Dr. Janardhan is his education is multidisciplinary. He had done his basic honors degree in physics, masters in electronics, both from Delhi University, and doctorate in economics with a focus on integrated policies and development. His love for continuous and mock-based education includes psychology. This is Wesleyan University, Neuroethics, University of Pennsylvania, and Research Management from University of Pittsburgh. He is also a National Science Talent Scholar. He has written over 100 articles and authored 3 books. One of them is a compulsory reading material for postgraduate students in IAFT, Indian Institute of Foreign Trade. Another published by IFAD, Rome, was a guide to NGOs working in social issues in rural areas. The countries to which assistance is provided by Dr. Janardhan is Armenia, Azerbaijan, Bangladesh, Cambodia, China, including Hong Kong, Fiji, Hungary, and all the states of India, United States, Indonesia, Iran, Japan, Kazakhstan, Laos, Luxembourg, Macau, Maldives, Malaysia, Malta, Mongolia, Myanmar, Namibia, Nepal, New Caledonia, Papua New Guinea, Philippines, Poland, Republic of Korea, Russian Federation, Singapore, Solomon Island, and Sri Lanka, Thailand, Tonga, and Vanuatu, and Vietnam. So many countries which even I don't know, sir. It's very nice to welcome you, sir. It's not an easy job for me to introduce you, but I have tried my level best, sir. I'm really thankful to you for being here with us in this webinar, spending your very valuable time amidst your busy schedule, sir. I welcome you to the webinar of Gandhigram Rural Institute in 2 University, sir. Over to you.
I'm Dr. Janardhan. Can you hear me well?
Yeah.
Sure. Okay. So let me start. I'm Dr. Janardhan, and good day to all who are listening to the webinar from different parts of the world. Thank you, Dr. Krishna Kumar, for the kind words of introduction to so detailed. I appreciate the excellent initiative of Gandhigram University under the leadership of the dynamic Chancellor, Vice Chancellor, and the Registrar in arranging the series of webinars focused on the needs of the students and the society. I have very fond memories of Gandhigram University. As sub-collector of Dindigal for 2.5 years from 1980 to 1982, I had been to the university several times and interacted with the staff and the students. In that pleasant note, permit me to get straight into the topic for today: Interdisciplinary Cyberphysical Systems, ICPS in short, Interdisciplinary Cyberphysical Systems. I hope my talk will be a curtain raiser to Generation Next. Generation Next, who is it? It's you, all of you students. Each of you who in a few years of time will be stepping out into an uncertain world. A world that will be uncertain, but full of opportunities. A lot of opportunities, but you have to be prepared. You have to be prepared to grasp it. And in that manner, I would like to tell you, it is not just only for the students of sciences and engineering and technology. I tell you, this is applicable for every discipline. That is why it is called interdisciplinary. Whether you are a student of politics, political science, economics, management, it doesn't matter at all. It is a subject which each and every one of you students must learn and be fully conversant with. When I now, let me now just, as I'm doing, let me just present my screen so that it becomes share. So you are able to see?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, wonderful. So, as I was saying, it is a subject that is really applicable to each and every one of you, whatever be the subject that you are engaged in. Let me take you back to the year 2000. When I got my first mobile phone. It was from Nokia, an elegant small phone. It was not a smartphone by any standards. All you could do was talk wirelessly and maybe do messages. And a minute call from Chennai to Hyderabad cost me a whopping 37 rupees. And the 1 month telephone bill was around 35,000 rupees. Unimaginable. Fast forward, let's come to 2020. India has become a mobile nation. Every one of you, everyone has a smartphone. And what all we use it for? Not just talking, for chatting, video calls, watching movies, listening to podcasts, connecting to email, Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, and all that the internet and the Google Baba has to offer. Why? We are even doing webinars, and many of you may be actually listening or seeing through your smartphone. That's not all. So many apps and applications. Every day is a new day. all using cutting-edge technologies that we do not see. And most of them, this is important, most of them would be cyber-physical systems, a group of technologies. What are they? Nanotechnology, IoT, the Internet of Things, blockchain technology, augmented reality, virtual reality, immersive reality, all kinds of realities, communications, 5G, 4G, 5G, and going ahead 6G and 7G, machine learning, robotics, deep learning, artificial intelligence, you name it. All of them come under the rubric of what is called the cyber-physical systems. They all interact and intertwine with one another to craft new vistas, new systems, new applications. But why are they called cyber-physical systems? And why is it interdisciplinary? Let me answer the second one first. Interdisciplinary, because they find use in every discipline that you can think of, whether it be agriculture, education, health, transportation, urban cities management, automotive, defense, warfare, cybercrime, drones, you name it. The ultimate would be when we have the creation of a social and emotional human being, someone like you and me, and we can't differentiate who is a real me and which is a robot, which is a social human, social and emotional robot. That will be the kind of this thing. Now, let me take you. Of course, it is take you what is the cyber physical system. It is of course very fashionable to use the word cyber as an adjective practically for everything. So the space becomes cyberspace, crime becomes cybercrime, city becomes a cyber city, and so on and so forth. Very fashionable. But then, with a little bit of seriousness, of course, Dr. Krishna Kumar tried to explain to you what is a cyber-physical system in his own words. Very simple, as you can see in the picture that is there in front of you. One is a cyber part, and one is a physical part. And the cyber part is computer-based algorithms, etc. They are basically computational elements that use the data, knowledge, etc. to do compute and do various things, computational elements. And the second, of course, is the physical part. The physical part could be mechanical, could be electronic, could be mechatronic, could be cybernetic. It could be all kinds of things that are physical. And the best part is, while both of them will be intertwined, they can be spatially and temporally apart. They need not be at the same space, same near each other. They need not be physically connected, space and time apart, spatially and temporally apart. And let me tell you, internet is not necessary for an actual cyber physical system to connect to each other. It is there, then you have what is called the Internet of Things. Internet of Things, IoT, is just a subset of the cyber physical system. Even without internet, you have multitude of cyber physical systems, and that is it. Let me give you a small example. And the best part is, these applications, they change with the context. The same thing changes continuously with the context. Let me give you an example. Simple example. There are many modern houses and buildings that have got security systems. And depending upon, for example, if you are coming from outside to try and come into the space, into the building space, if it is a car, and if it is already registered as some car that can be allowed in, then the system would read what is the number, etc., etc. And if it is there, it will open the big gate and allow the car to be in, and then close it. That's it. But instead of you coming in a car, you come walking. There is no need for such a big door to be open. It will recognize you. And if you are a person who is authorized to enter there, it will probably open a side small gate and open that. So it depends on the context. The same thing, contextually, it will take the data, it will take the things and use that knowledge and compute and do certain actions. And this is the essence of the cyber-physical systems. And they are really a challenge. These applications are really a challenge for everyone, including the policy makers, as we go through in our society. Challenges of climate, clean air, water, energy, the need for improvement in education, healthcare, so many things. It all depends how we understand and how we apply it, whether it will be a demographic dividend or a catastrophe. Why I am saying this? Because India, we are the youngest nation, and we will remain so until the year 2050. We will be the youngest nation. We need to decide what we do with these technologies so that our citizens benefit. We need to be sure what to do with these technologies so that our citizens actually benefit. Why I'm saying so? I give you one small from the study that I have done. What are the kind of things that will disappear in the next 10 years due to the application of these cyber-physical systems in various aspects of disciplines and aspects? Well, drivers will not be there in so much in demand, because there will be many times you will be have driverless vehicles, whether it's trucks and delivery vans and so on. Printers, publishers, newspapers, magazines, they will slowly go out. So the printers and publishers, they will go out. Cashiers and in-store salespeople, they may lose their job. Travel agents, you are able to book it completely on your own. So these travel agents will lose out. A lot of manufacturing workers will go because of the robotic elements that are there. The waiting tables and bartending and so on and so forth, bank tellers, telemarketers, accountants, stock traders, movie stars, even movie stars and so on, will all be losing the job in the next 10 years. But there is one which the outside world say that they will also lose the job. And I'm concerned. And that is farmers. Farmers will lose the job in 10 years. And that is absolutely unimaginable for a country like ours, where more than 60 to 70% depend upon farming. And they are there. And their life has to be built. They have to be happy. They have to have a raised income. They cannot be just phased out. Where will they go? So while abroad, they will look upon these kind of technologies to replace the farmers using extreme automated methods and so on and so forth. We need to understand. We need to prepare systems that will also have the farmers there, that they also be a part of this whole cyber-physical systems. They are also a physical system, whatever way it may be, so that they are actually not removed from, they are not just become redundant. And that is very important. That is why I say that when we understand the cyber-physical systems and we build our applications, we have to be we should be very careful about who are the people who may lose the jobs and which we do not want to see them losing the jobs. And it's very important for you. You students are there from so many disciplines. As I told you, so many kind of jobs that will be disappearing in the next in the next few years. Now, I will take it one step further. But before taking it one step further with respect to agriculture as an application, and then taking it on and seeing the future using the cyber-physical systems, I didn't want it to be a technical kind of a stuff on the technology of the cyber-physical systems, teaching you what is an artificial intelligence and so on and so forth. That's not the kind of stuff today. Today, it is meant for a broad spectrum of you students to see what all it can, how it can sort of help, and how we should be using it. When I say about actually, as told by Dr. Krishna Kumar, I'm the founder trustee of Hassle-Free Foundation. It's a public charitable trust. It was founded in 2011 by my wife, Saroja Janardhan, and myself. She's the managing trustee. I'm a founder trustee. We have very wonderful people joined as advisors and etc. etc. And over the last so many years, our reach has grown phenomenally to cover practically 18, 19 states and one or two places like Pondicherry, etc. And this has grown because of the support, because of the work that we do, and the support given by the government of India. In the last 2 years, we have participated in the national mission to propagate, to build the awareness of cyber-physical systems. It's a national mission to build the awareness of the cyber-physical systems among the children of India. What do I mean by children? Children who are in middle school, class 6, 7, 8, in high school, 9, 10. Where? In these 18, 19 states, 9,000 in 91 aspirational districts. There are 115 aspirational districts out of the 640 odd total districts in India. In India as a whole, we have around 640 districts, out of which Niti Aayog, etc., the Department of Home Affairs, etc., have decided that 115 of them are aspirational, meaning they are very much, left behind. They have the aspiration to go ahead and build themselves up. And in each of these, and mind you, not just 91 aspirational districts, in them, there are many red zone districts which are full of violence, extremism. There are 34 red zone districts, and in those 34, we work in 31 of the 34 red zone districts in the states of Jharkhand, Chhattisgarh, Bihar, Maharashtra, and so on and so forth. And in each of these districts, we have selected 100 villages and naturally 100 schools. And so there are 9,100 schools, and the children in that schools, nearly 15 to 18 lakh children, 20,000 teachers, all we have really gone about in a very systematic manner with evidence and outcomes to be able to spread the message of that they should know about these cyber physical systems. And I tell you, these children have been really fantastic in trying to understand these kind of things, how it can be applied in the surrounding of where they are, in their community, in their school, around them, in their villages, in their panchayats. And they have done phenomenal kind of projects, and we have so many photographs and videos of all of this. I'll just give you one example. You see this is, for example, in this thing of Jharkhand. And you see the various districts are there on the left, and each of them, Tumka, Giri, and so on and so forth. And our command and control system has captured how we have gone about, whether these have been covered, which are the schools which have been covered, whether the teachers have been trained, whether they've taken it to their schools, whether the children have used it, and then and so on. And we have had a phenomenal kind of response in this whole thing, that we are able to actually dynamically and realistically talk to the stakeholders. And we have ourselves used cyber physical systems to be able to build all these things. So we have covered the red zone districts. We have used robotic analytics to be able to even know whether the schools are using it, how the children are using it, and so on and so forth. It's been a wonderful way. So today, when I'm talking to you about cyber physical systems, I'm talking to you out of our deep experience working about these systems in the length and breadth of India, in the northeast, west, north, south, center, you name it. We have gone around and we have spread. And today, when I'm talking to you, I'm talking to you with that kind of experience deeply embedded into me. And so I would like to take one small example of experience. We were in Jharkhand, and we were into many of the districts that were very aspirational, and many of them very tribal. And as we were trying to explain them to the children and to the community and so on, we found that the farmers, the tribal farmers there, they really felt. I mean, they initially they were at a loss. All they knew was what they were doing. They were cultivating certain things. There were certain tribal, there were certain forest produce like lac that they were actually also harvesting and so on. But there was one thing that they found: there was a lot of information asymmetry among them. They had no idea. They had just no idea where was it going from their hand. Where was it going? Who was the buyer? Whether they were in India, whether they were abroad. Was it important? What is the price that was setting? Every place, in every aspect, there was an asymmetry of information. And so they were getting extremely low price and they were living a life of misery. And as we were explaining about the cyber physical system and how they can use it and so on, while we told them that you can use it from anywhere for sowing, growing, harvesting, storage, marketing, including in between certification, branding, and all this kind of stuff, but all of them would make no sense to them until we found a way, a 4-stage way to communicate to these farmers the use of the cyber physical systems and how can they do it. And I tell you here, the most important was the stage 1. And it is true wherever we go. Stage 1. Basically, they need to trust you. They need to believe in you. They should not be asked to put in more money, more. Already they are so much indebted. They don't have any money. Whatever they are producing, you introduce something simple using a simple thing that they use, which is a smartphone. All that they were ready to do was use a smartphone. Whatever you put in the smartphone, they told, we know how. You teach us, we can operate. Sure. But the first stage was a stage where using cyber physical systems, the farmers wanted to see at least the income double in their hands. Money talks. Money really talks. They said, when we see double the income coming, whatever you may call information asymmetry, in the goods flow, in the money flow, in the information flow, whatever be the flow, whatever it be, we are ready to do something that you say. You are saying so many things. We have the smartphone. Give us the app, whatever you want to do, and we should see at least doubling the income through various mechanisms that you're talking about. And the best part of it is by shrinking some of the supply chain, by bringing in direct benefit transfer to them and so on, which is already in use into these tribal farmers, we could actually bring in doubling the income of these farmers, of these farmers. So what I'm saying is, in this cyber physical system, the farmer is also a physical system. You can't just leave that person. If he is not going to be convinced if anything, he will not allow you to go to stage 2. The stage 2 will be using things like IoT, and it will be used for minimizing wastage and maximizing production. Stage 3 would be for certification branding. It would be using the technologies such as the blockchain technologies. Stage 4 would have even artificial intelligence and so many other things, and to bring in absolute 4 times, 5 times, 6 times the income and so on. But then they won't allow you to go to even stage 2 unless you are able to fit them into the cyber physical systems in stage 1 and show them the money in their hands. When you show them the money in the hands, I think this is where I wanted to tell you about that. If you ape the Westerners in the way they use, they would love to just remove these farmers from the whole this thing and then bring in their various kind of systems, tractors, this all kind of stuff, and and pesticides and so on and so forth, and too many things. But no. When we worked with the cyber physical system, we wanted the farmers and we definitely wanted their lives to be better. And so when you actually now you go, yes, once we go from the stage 1 to stage 2, yes, then you could, again, you don't have to teach them IoT and so on. But you could enable certain sensors and that, etc., for various things, for precision agriculture, exact amount of water, nutrients, micronutrients, etc., that is to go in, managing the location, where it is going, location tracking, sensor based, some cold chains will come, etc., to collect them, and then the cold chain tracking, warehouse management, and so on and so forth. These all use the Internet of Things. But these farmers don't need to know about all these kind of technologies. They know that they trust you in the first time, and more importantly, as you saw in the first thing, in stage 2, when they use all this, first it was doubling of the income. Definitely they would want their income to go to 2.5 times from the current level. 2 times, 2.5 times, 3 times, 4 times, 5 times, like that. Definitely money also had to come to them. This is very important. So when I'm talking of the cyber physical systems, of course IoT will not work without communication systems and so on. So these things always intertwine with each other. So the communication could be 4G. Now we are getting the 5G, and later on, much later, you will have 7G. That will be needed when you have completely internet available, whether you are in deep under the sea or up in the space. It doesn't matter. You will have the internet, ubiquitous internet all over. Then stage 3, the blockchains for agriculture. The stage 3, so it is for price discovery, for minimizing wastage, for certification, very important, for branding, etc. Certification is very important. The kind of producer they make, certification, etc., very important. Smart contracts. So basically, when they enter into certain contracts, they are smart contracts. They can't be changed arbitrarily. Everyone knows what it is, and so on. And the farmers, they also know what is in it for them. And of course, finally going to supply chain efficiency, end to end. So these are all using various levels of blockchain technologies that is in the stage 3 and so on. So fundamentally, but another thing that I found out, that in many of these places where the farmers were there, they were not interested in an individual farming doubling their income. They were interested about their whole the people around them, the whole community, the village, the society, the panchayat, all to develop. Farm income was just an entry point. Not some farmers. For example, in Jharkhand, they were the Munda tribal community in the Kunti district that was declared as red zone, a very violent and volatile place. But they were working with us. We had no problem because they knew that they could trust us because we were showing and we were working with them. It is not that we were telling them, we were sitting with them, understanding them. And what did we understand? They said that the income is only one part, the money. We have so many issues with respect to health. What are these issues? Preventable health, issues of health, diarrhea, respiratory infections, malnutrition, anemia, tuberculosis, and COPD, and so on and so forth. And the same technologies could be used for telehealth, telemedicine, and so on and so forth. And for that, we found that the state budget to these kind of preventables was so low. It was not even 3 to 4%. The budget was on curables. After you get the problem, you cure it. And that is where the big hospitals come in. So we ensured that the budget in these places was increased 4 times for preventing the preventables. I will come to some of these. Then, when they talked about health, it was not just their health. It was the health of the ecosystem. Today, we're sitting here in urban areas, we are talking about organic farming, etc. These people were continuously doing they were not using pesticide and insecticide and all that. They were always absolute organic. And they were talking about the ecosystem of the place, the rivers, the Banai, Kanachi, Koil, Karo, Karakari, so many rivers. They wanted them to be clear, without dust and pollution, etc. in that. The flora and the fauna, the duck and the geese, and the 314 species there. 1 or 2 are even, in the list of being disappearing. Yeah.
Precious.
Yeah. Huh?
Precious one species.
Yeah. And then they were bothered about the education of their children, starting from what I call the early childhood care and education, which is the foundational. You build the foundation. the brain health, the body health, the social health, the emotional health. And then the child is a happy child when it is all fine. If these milestones are fine, it's a happy child and which learns on its own a hell of a lot of things. You don't have to teach a child to learn the mother tongue. You just say, it's a servant return kind of a stuff. So you say, the child says, kaka, you say, papa, whatever it is, just goes on. But you constantly encourage, smile, and this thing. And then without any grammar, without any syntax, without any vocabulary, it started talking sentences and so on and so forth. This early age, 0 to 8, and then the next level, 9 to 14, and then we go to, of course, to the farmers, etc. is adult education. And in many of these places, the literacy was very low. And for these farmers, it was functional. That is, whatever they learned, it had to make sense to what they are doing. So if they are doing lag cultivation, it had to make sense to their lag cultivation. If they were doing animal husbandry, it had to make sense to, the way they were doing the animal husbandry, and so on and so forth, the way they were living. In Ramanathapuram, where I was for some time, the collector had a very difficult time after the assassination of a former prime minister. I was the chief coordinator of the forces for anti-LTT operations. And in those days, I traveled far and wide in the whole place. I found a way to increase the income of the women there from the Seemai Karivelam Maram. Seemai Karivelam, what they call the Prosopis juliflora. Of course, it is now caught in some kind of a thing, but it is unbelievable plant of a different kind. What I'm saying is, wherever you go, you must understand the whole ecosystem. So it doesn't matter where you enter the thing. It could be from education, it could be from health, it could be from income, but then all of them wanted an interdisciplinary approach. And an approach that is able to clearly be empathetic to understand what they are and how their life, their culture, their living, their food, their habits, and so on, and to be able to build upon it. And that is how this whole thing was becoming very successful. And you can see it. Now, this is a kind of a thing where it needs a complete team of people who understand education at different levels, who understand preventive health in different levels, health of ecosystems, and raising the farm incomes, understanding technology, understanding how technology can be applied, how these people can be brought into build the trust among those people, and so on. It requires a different kind. And then you have to talk to the policymakers to increase the budget and so on, so forth. So all I'm saying is this CPS, once it starts, it just goes on and on, and there is a way by which it can really maximize a lot of things. So as I come to this talk in some way, I actually wanted to make it really understand. Because I found Gandhigram when I went into the university's website. It was teaching the students so many things. I mean, there was whether it be a diploma or it be undergraduate or a postgraduate. I mean, so many disciplines from all sciences, physics, chemistry, engineering, political science, and so on. Management, accounting, education. I mean, it's a university for so long, from 1946. I mean, unbelievable, and it was covering every area. So there's so many people who are there. You would be doing different branches of disciplines. And that is why I wanted to tell you that the cyber-physical systems really would be very applicable in every aspect, whether it is geopolitics, economy, development, energy, advertising, neuroscience, food, gaming, nature, architecture, sport, transport, health, and even storytelling. And I do want to tell at least a few things about in some of these areas, so that you can understand why I say that this is something which will be very useful in various kind of things. Let me leave out the first one, which is the politics. I don't want to talk about it, but let us talk about the economy and the role of the bankers and so on and so forth. We had many financial crises in 2000, 2010, 1997, 2000, 2010, and probably in 2020s there will be another financial crisis. It'll be you'll be confronted by trillions of dollars of bank bailouts. It will be impossible for the wider banking system to resist reform. And because it has to be otherwise underwritten by the bailout by the taxpayers, and which will not be always acceptable to all the citizens. But then there is an opportunity. I personally feel that by the year 2030 or 35, there's a good prospect. There's a very good prospect that India will be, of course, definitely it will be the most populous country, but it will also be a very dynamic country in the world. Our leading universities, including Gandhigram University, of course, you call it the deemed to be university, I don't know, whatever it is, Gandhigram University will become a powerhouse of innovation. World centers in exploiting the approaching avalanche of scientific and technological breakthrough. And a reformed financial system will allow the entrepreneurs, the Indian entrepreneurs, to get the committed financial backing they need for the startups, and then to grow big, to scale up, and to become the leaders in Asia and the Pacific. And after a century of trying, India will at last build itself a system for developing enterprise apprentices and technicians that is no longer the Cinderella of just the education system. We would have a complete kind of a system for financial backing for our entrepreneurs. Of course, it will not be plain sailing. Massive political turbulence in China and its conflict with US, its conflicts with India, etc. They will define the next 5, 10, 15 years. There will be a period when the world trading and financial system will retreat from its openness. That will also happen. But then, ultimately, it will be good news for India. It will allow us to re-engage with the economy and build a matrix of institutions that will support innovation and investment. And in these matrix of institutions for innovation and investment, cyber physical systems in all its avatars will play a leading role, will play a very leading role. So whether you are, whatever area you are in, you will have to get to know. And so each of these things that I have given the heading, it could be a kind of a heading for a kind of a research paper that you do, or a project that you do, or something that you want to learn more upon, depending upon what is it that you're doing. Let me take about the next one. Vaccine. We are in this pandemic, in the times of the pandemic. We are in the time of the pandemic, COVID-19. We're all talking about vaccines. But it's not just the vaccines for this COVID that, and if you look at it, the vaccines have been used for various purposes. And we have seen many successes in the past in tackling the preventable diseases of the poor. India has been much polio-free for more than a decade. And this fight against polio represents one of the greatest achievements of the global health to date. It has mobilized millions of volunteers on mass immunization campaigns and strengthened the health system in many countries, including India. And also we have eliminated nearly 99% of the polio in the world, and full eradication is well within reach. Not only that, vaccines that prevent diseases such as measles, rotavirus, they are currently available in rich countries, a little costly, but they will become very affordable and readily available in developing countries because of use of multiple these things in biotechnology world and so on and so forth, and a lot of support from the cyber physical systems itself. I do expect to see major strides in this area. A rapid point of care diagnostic test coupled with the faster acting treatment regimen will fundamentally change the way we treat tuberculosis, for example, that we can begin planning an elimination campaign. We will eradicate malaria, probably. And even this AIDS infection, you must have known about this RV144 AIDS vaccine trial in Thailand. It has been pretty successful. And so HIV and AIDS, these are the kind of things that are also going to be tackled. And of course, now we have this COVID-19. Many of the vaccines have come out. Probably by March and June of next year, we will be seeing its applications to majority of the people. What I am trying to say is, in all of this, in rapid development of these vaccines, its cold storage, its distribution, and the tracking and tracing who has been using it and how they are performing, all of them will use cyber-physical system to its ultimate core. Yeah. So this is another area. So we talked about economy, we talked about thing. Then let us look at a very interesting thing called the neuroscience, for example. I did my course on neuroethics and neuroscience, very important for me. Basically, I think we will be in about 10 years' time, we are likely to have a no-frills brain-machine interface, allowing the paralyzed to dance in their thought-controlled exoskeleton suits. These exoskeleton suits will be made out of nanotechnology, allowing the paralyzed to dance in their thought-controlled exoskeleton suits. We'll probably be able to plug information streams directly into the cortex for those who want it badly enough to risk surgery. What do I mean? There will be smart drugs to enhance learning, memory, and a flourishing black market among ambitious students who want to obtain them. There will be a flourishing black market of that also. Or maybe, but then, all these are fine. But I hope by then we would have cracked the secret of human memory by realizing that it's never about storing data into our brains. It is about understanding the relationship between the data that is very important. And there, the way we are able to develop our mind and thinking, etc., while these various technologies will be able to do many things, there is a lot of things that we have to do ourselves to be able to have a greater understanding of these. Another very interesting thing for me is, the food issue. India could become a superpower for half the world. I talked about farmers. And if we are able to bring the farmers into this whole thing of these cyber-physical systems and use technology to the core, then definitely it is possible. Recently you would have seen there's a lot of investment that is to be coming into the food chain from many of the Middle East countries and so on, in billions of dollars, and it is not just for us. It is for the whole of the countries of the Middle East, going up to the African countries, where a lot of this climate change will make a lot of things impossible for them to grow. And India could be could be a nation that could be fulfilling the hunger needs of nearly half of the world. And similarly, the kind of things in the genetically modified things and the various kind of techniques that are used for growing, that can even open up the possibility of using the extremely areas in the Himalayan, the -20, -30 degrees. Even there, it is possible that one can grow and do it. It's in beyond Uttarakhand and so on, in the upper reaches of Uttarakhand and Himachal Pradesh and so on and so forth. So this is another kind of a possibility. So here we are talking about food, the agriculture, and what all it can do using technology. And you take nano, going down at the atom level and so on and so forth. It completely different substances are formed, and the things it will get smaller and smaller. And definitely 10 years down the line, when you go to the market to buy a smartphone, you will not see a smartphone today. Possibly when you go there, they will say, what are the kind of thing that you want? And a small thing will be injected within you, and that injectable will go in you, and probably your hand will be the screen. That's it. And the various sensors inside, it will absolutely make privacy a kind of thing of the past. We'll have to completely relook at this privacy and so on and so forth, as the smartphones are injected in our body and doing the thing. And then you take a thing like gaming. A lot of time people used to do this gaming, war games and that games where you win or lose, or you play chess, or you play this bridge and so on, with a win-lose kind of a competitive kind of a stuff. But interestingly, people are learning a lot. People are learning a lot by using cooperative games. Large number of people cooperate, not compete, cooperate. And in that whole way, they are able to actually play to solve problems, and they start with absolute unknown, and then they slowly start building their resilience and neuroplasticity in the brain. What do I mean? They start with an unknown. Many times when we start with an unknown, all this education that is there, when we go to an area, new place of work, we don't know what is going to happen. It's going to be sometimes many of them, they don't know what to do. They don't know how to start. They freeze. They just freeze. They put their hand in the head and they say, "Oh my God, what to do?" And sometimes they become depressed and so on and so forth. But some, if you're properly trained from a young age, if you do this kind of gaming, etc., properly, you make a start somewhere. Doesn't matter if it fails. Failure is not a problem. You build the resilience. Try. You build the resilience, not bothered about failures. Build the resilience, and then the neuroplasticity, so that you are able to have a clearer understanding in the brain, and how to, when new kind of situation, in an uncertain world, there will be hell of a lot of new situations. For example, I can give you an example. Imagine 10 years down the line, you have a colleague sitting next, 15 years down the line, a colleague next to you. And suddenly after a month, you find it's not a human being. It's an emotional robot, which is looking exactly like, a human being. My God, it will be such a shock for you. But what I'm trying to say is, many of these kind of things which build the resilience and neuroplasticity, we learn a lot from many of the games. If you go on the internet, you will see there are different kinds of games which are there, which starting from a simple Scrabble to Origami, Don't Starve Together, Factorio, and so on and so forth. Unbelievably great games where 4 people can play, sometimes even thousands can play together, and so on and so forth. These are the new things that are coming in the world of gaming and this thing. It is not just games. Of course, we in the part of this cyber-physical system is quantum computing. God alone knows where all it will take us, and even nature. We will have to redefine the world, because ultimately a lot of the species are disappearing. And what are those that are left behind? Those that learn to live with the humans. They are the ones that, however much we try, these are the ones that are actually surviving. Hopefully, in the last 6 months, 8 months, we would have learned something. We would have seen our ecosystems grow, plants grow, become greener, more birds and these things and coming, and so on and so forth. But whatever we do, ultimately the nature is also will redefine to those that can actually survive to live with human beings. It's a part of the ecosystem will be human as well as birds and the bees and all of them together. Even in architecture, what constitutes a city itself will change when you have this kind of driverless cars and so on and so forth. And then you are having a lot of these kind of, everyone is becoming richer, eating all kind of food, junk food, all kind of stuff. Probably they are mega cities, and within that you have cities within cities, and with a lot of encouragement for people to walk and cycle and so on and so forth. The architecture of the way in which the city itself will be sort of built, and to have the ever increasing population and urbanization will be unbelievable, and to prevent the crime and so on and so forth. Unbelievable amount of these cyber-physical systems will be used to recognize, to track, to see what is going on, who is not following the rules, who is following, etc., etc. And of course, transport. I already talked about the automated cars and so on, UAVs, the drones, and let me tell you, these kind of things, technology is very neutral to many of these things. They can be used by good people for good things, can be used by all kind of people for all kind of destructive ways. A drone can be, we always think of a drone now swarms of drones coming down and bombing and so on and so forth. But the drones can be used to plant millions of plants. They can be used, for example, to reduce the time by which the ambulances come from 10 minutes to 1 minute, and to be able to help someone who has had an attack and so on and so forth. Unbelievable the way the drones can be used. And coming to the last storytelling. I've been telling a story to you. In a way, I've been telling a story, a story defining the future. But many of us, I used to read a lot of books. I had a friend in the university, when I was at the university, who used to make me read one book a week. And he used to come and give it to me, different kinds of book every week. And you can imagine, 52 weeks, 52 books. 3 years, I read 150 books because of that one single gentleman. Now, today, I don't read a book in 3 months. Even if I start reading, I read the first 10 pages, 100 pages max, then I go to the last 10 pages and they throw it out. And this reading habit is going down and down and down in the reading of our books. And much like exercising, we like to do it. We every time we have the New Year's resolution, I will exercise, be fit, and that and this. Reading and all these kind of things take a back seat after some time. But not to worry. We now read in different ways. We read we read things which are much in different forms. They are short. They are short ones. They are web comics. They are this thing. They are coming in WhatsApp in forms of different kinds of videos or messages and stories and so on. All of them for the short span and giving different kind of gyans. I really wonder whether the next classic will be on the Twitter classic, as I call it. That's what I really wonder. So I'm coming near to the end of this, my 45 minutes time that was allocated to me. And I do feel that I have one suggestion to you. One suggestion before I sign up, before I end. Please do read the book I, Robo, Volume 1 to 3, if you have not already done so, written by Isaac Asimov, one of the finest writers. And in that I, Robo, there are 3 volumes, Volume 1, 2, 3, each of them containing 8 to 10 short stories. And it defines in that first volume itself the 3 laws of robotics, how the robots have to be built with the 3 laws so that humanity is not sort of destroyed and not lost. It has to follow the 3 laws. But even within the 3 laws, he builds the story starting from a simple, clunky kind of small robo a child is playing with. And that is in the chapter 1, that is the story 1 of the volume 1, to the last story in the chapter 3, where he's talking about the presidential race in the United States. Mind you, this book was written in the 1970s. He is talking about the presidential race, and there is one of the person who is now running for the president. He is talking to his constituents. He is telling what all he can do and so on and so forth, like it happens any of them. And suddenly one other person comes looking exactly like him, behaving exactly like him, and doing everything like, and saying, I am the person. He is not. He is actually a robo. And there is a tussle between the two. And the people are aghast, not knowing who is the real person and who is a robo. And finally, very show of hand, they say, okay, you all decide who is the real person. And they all, at the show of hand, say, they point to one and say, he's the real person. That is the real person. That's the real. And then the other person is checked out, and then it takes place, and then he ultimately ends up becoming president. And no one knows, as per Isaac Asimov, whether he was actually a real person or a robo. That is the end of that I, Robo series. And mind you, this will become a reality in 10, 15, 20 years. You will have an ultimate social and emotional human being. And we should know, unless we know these technologies and applications, we will all be taken for a big surprise. Thank you very much for listening to me. I hope you appreciated the way I spun this whole thing for all the disciplines that can be there, and each of you there who should actually dwell deeper into the cyber-physical systems, their applications, their uses, and see how it can be used in your own area, so that you actually develop to be a great person, a great human being, able to contribute to society and to your own growth and development. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Janardhan.
Yeah.
Generally, people will say that yes, as you rightly said, everything would be robotized. I humbly submit that there cannot be a possibility of robotizing people like you speaking and people like we getting benefited. That cannot be robotized.
Okay, that's a good thing.
Thank
Yeah.
you so much for a very passionate and very emotionally. You have explained everything whatsoever in a beautiful form, in a very beautiful form. It was like sitting aside a river which is singing.
Oh.
That's the feel you have given today. For me, at least, it was very interesting when you speak. Uh, the way you explained very passionately to student fraternity. That was the first ball which went off the stadium. You will find a world, uncertain world, with full of opportunity. The greatest expression I can see ever, which is a very optimistic expression for a student fraternity, that you are going to face an uncertain world, which is full of opportunity. The first ball itself went off the stadium, above the stadium rather. Thereafter, innovations, the importance of innovation, the redefined financial systems, re-engaging to the economy are certain things which probably those students will pick up from their own, they have their own way of picking up things, and I'm sure this webinar will certainly be a library material for future generation to refer and get enriched. Thank you so much for that, sir. Now, uh, when we have 5 minutes space or 10 minutes space for questions, we are starting with that. The first question is from me, sir. Uh, I have been in a corporate and I am now in a different field together. Just to ask how this corporate IT security and the CPS IT security is different. How you feel it could be different, or it is different, or what is it exactly?
No, nothing is different. It's simply that the corporate security, etc., they get redefined, they get improved depending upon their this thing, and they use the technologies so that they are able to have the desired outcomes. You know that whatever kind of security you try to build, there are enough number of people in the cybercrime world who want to break it. So you have to be always one step ahead. They will be one step ahead of you. So it's a continuous tussle. When you use any kind of the softwares, this antivirus, and every day you will have a definition of at least 50, 100, 200 new definitions of new virus. These things coming up every day. That's for a simple thing. When you are actually using corporate kind of a thing, which is oriented towards business and business outcomes, and what are the things that are IPR, your intellectual property, whether they should not be get stolen, and so on and so forth, you need different kinds of security for different kind of business purposes. Ultimately, security is defined by the business that you are in. You don't need all this kind of security if you're just having trash with you. So I think that's it. It all depends upon, it drives from the corporate business what they consider as important to them.
Thank you so much, Professor. No, I have very different thing to feel. Like we have a very ambitious plan of our Prime Minister, Atmanirbhar Bharat. The government is building up smart cities. Right? How ICPS helps building in smart cities, or what is the use of ICPS in building up smart cities, as per your
I think every aspect of building a smart the kind of by which people go on their lanes, those that violate, that is one aspect of it. The other aspect of it is how do you dispose the kind of waste, and how do you are able to sort of how do you use technologies that will actually eat up. There are many kind of nanotechnology based kind of stuff that eat up these kind of wastages and so on. How they can be inbuilt into the various kind of trash cans and other things, etc., so that you don't and so on. I mean, every single aspect of this smart city, whether it is trash, whether it is water, whether it is air, the way that you are estimating what is the quality of air that is there, and how do you automatically the one thing about the cyber physical systems is when the sensors detect something, they automatically then they trigger something else to counter it. And so in smart cities, when certain things going out of the bound, it's automatically escalating, triggering certain actions, etc. So that various decisions can be taken by the administrators, by the politicians, and so on and so forth, whatever it may be. So smart cities, by definition, has to use unbelievable amount of IoT. The way even you design using 3D printers, even 4D printers. For example, what I mean is, just imagine a house which is near the sea. Over a period of 3 to 4 to 5 years, you will find many of these grills, etc. They're getting rusted, and you need to take care of them. Then you build the thing in such a way, automatically when this thing starts, it automatically sort of triggers an action by which then the rusting can be avoided, or something can be coated, or something can. So over a period of over time itself, so you can 3D print certain things on a fourth dimension. You can automatically have systems by which they can continuously manage them and so on. I mean, in this concept of smart city, there is nothing that we do or we plan or build that is not dependent upon it. And rather, I would go one step down. I would not want so much, because in India we don't have that culture of metropolitan culture. We take like Chennai; it is like a village that has outgrown itself. Rather, I would like to have a smart panchayat, a smart block, a smart tehsil, a smart district, so that people get the value of everything within that. That is where I told it about the ecosystem approach and so on and so forth.
Absolutely.
It is manageable. It is manageable. And it will ensure that people do not unnecessarily come and have these all kind of problems in the urbanized in the world. I think we need to re-look at the urbanization itself, and look at urban smart panchayat as a concept, and Gandhigram University, with its with its ethos built from 1946, from I think your founding father has been. I think you should have a kind of Atmanirbhar, some kind of a project that builds this smart panchayat, and definitely I can help in this kind of stuff. Yeah.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, sir. This is something which was very, very encouraging. We will try our level best to bring it up and seek your support in developing some model for this in our level. Now, sir, I have a typical question. We are talking about CPCS, ICPS in many subjects like physics, mathematics, computer, IT, so on and so forth. Management is one thing which generally our students feel that this ICPS goes above their head. How do you feel that it is relevant for the management students also? Because I feel there is a gap in understanding that.
There will be no problem. After all, what are you doing? You are managing. Management is to manage something. What are you managing? If you are really outcome and evidence based person, then you are trying to see whether the outcomes are actually happening. We are not talking about the inputs. We are not talking about the activities. We are talking about outputs and outcomes. And when we are looking at these outputs and outcomes, we're seeing whether they are within a range. So we are measuring the indicators, we are monitoring them to see whether they are within the range. And when they go out of the range, then we come into the what is called managing, to see how to ensure that they get back into the manageable space. And here, the the defense and various things, they have really built this into an art form. It started as a C square, I square. It became C3, IQ. It became C4, I4, and so on. Command and control systems, C, command and control systems. Communication and computing systems, these are the C thing. Command and control, communication and computing, these are the C4. I square, information, intelligence, integration, interoperability. These are not just within the country. Now, when, for example, groups of countries are coming to form blocks like the Quad and the other things that they're talking, they are entering into kind of agreements so that they are able to share the data, the information, build the command and control systems, have the kind of their systems work together in an interoperable manner, and so on and so forth. This is the highest form of management. So whether you are having a small a corporate entity that you are managing, or you are having a management system for the entire country or a group of countries, these kind of concepts like the C4, I4, etc., they are unbelievably useful, and they have developed into like an art form. They use phenomenal amount of technology for their working, and I would really want your management students to have a really deep dive into these systems.
Yes. Thank you, sir. Now we are coming to a formal closure, and even by heart, I feel that we should have some more time with you. Dil mange more type of thing. But unfortunately, because of restrictions the classroom session should start immediately after the lunch, so we have to cut short. And I'm really thankful to you, Dr. Janardhan, for being with us in this webinar. And you had given a very, very nice. Uh, it's not a curtain raiser. It's really a clear picture about what exactly is interdisciplinary cyber-physical system uh, for today and for the future for our students. You have enriched us in your own way, and I'm sure our students are able to pick up. They are good at their level, and I'm sure that they will pick up this particular webinar, and they will use it for their studies in future, in research, in bringing in new things, inventing new things, innovations, and so on and so forth in their life. I really personally thankful to you, Dr. Janardhan, for being with us on behalf of the university, the management. I thank you very much for being with us in this webinar, and I'm looking further for inviting you to Gandhigram post this Corona scenario, maybe in April or May. You can come and visit, lead us, throw some light to our students, and enrich them for their benefit. Thank you so much, sir. Thank you for being with us. Jai Hind.
Jai Hind. Thank you. Bye-bye. I will log out.
Yeah.